The Trades Union Congress is calling on President Akufo-Addo to set up a special committee to review both the first and second tier pension schemes. Addressing workers at Tuesday's May Day parade, the TUC also appealed to President Akufo-Addo to reconstitute the boards of the National Labour Commission, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and the National Pensions Regulatory Commission, explaining the delay is affecting full implementation of some important sections of the National Pensions Act 2008. The TUC also endorsed government plans to end its program with the International Monetary Fund. Maxwell Agwawa was there in our reports.
It is one of the rare moments they get to let down their hair, and they did it in grand style. At a point, it felt like a singing competition with the various worker unions battling for who has a superior voice. It was not about skills anymore. The thousands of workers who showed up at the Independence Square used their placards to register their displeasure and also call for better remuneration. For others, this was the time to make their voices heard on very sensitive matters at their various workplaces as they boldly displayed them for the cameras to capture. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Ishmael Ashite called on employers to stop frustrating workers who want to form or join unions.
Attaining decent work will be difficult if employers will continue to frustrate workers on their constitutional rights. We call on all employers to respect the provision of the labor law and the constitution of this country.
In a speech on his behalf, Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress said organized labor will submit detailed proposals to support its request for a review of both the first and second tier pension schemes.
We would like to appeal to you once again, Mr. President and Honorable Minister, to set up a special committee to review both the first and second tier pension schemes. Organized labor will submit detailed proposals to government for the review of the 2-year pension scheme. We support government's decision to end the IMF policies and programs. And Ghana will not be the first to do so when we finally liberate our country from the IMF. We should never repeat those mistakes in economic management, which will force us back to implement IMF-sponsored programs and policies.
Some workers who were present used the opportunity to make a passionate appeal to the president to heed their demands.
About our promotion. Teachers worked all years. When it gets to promotion, they decide to do a whole lot of things that undermine the progress of the teacher. So we also want to plead that as today marks our day, the government should be able to organize a better promotion for teachers.
My name is Na Zakaria Guma. I am the secretary to TEWU of University of Ghana local. We've not been able to review our conditions of service so far as the public universities are concerned. And therefore, we are calling on all stakeholders to be aware and also to facilitate things for this to be reviewed.
Yeah, I'm Victor Amo. I'm the union chairman, the local union chairman of Votary Transport Company. Our concern is it's about the railway line that is supposed to terminate at Akosombo Port, Votary Transport Company, which to end there, which is being diverted to another place called Mpakadan. And our concern is that when you divert it to Mpakadan, where we have all the facilities at Akosombo Port, and you are diverting it to a port where it's a virgin land, no development has gone on there. We have to start everything from the scratch. Whilst we could only upgrade, we could upgrade Akosombo Port.
Well, President Akufo-Addo says his government is working on a blueprint on how Ghana will be run after the IMF program, adding that a 10-member committee has been set up to draft a plan on the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. The IMF completed the 5th and 6th reviews of the program last month as Ghana prepares to end the program. President Akufo-Addo, who was speaking at an event as part of the May Day celebration in Kumasi, said Ghana will gradually reduce its dependence on foreign aid.
I welcome the partnership of organized labor with government and the private sector so that we can work together to develop homegrown solutions to our problems. This will present us with the most effective path to realizing the vision of a Ghana beyond aid. That is why I'm setting up a 10-member committee comprising 3 members each from government, ministries of finance, planning and employment and labor relations, organized labor, and the private enterprise federation to work out under the chairmanship of that good servant of the Ghanaian people, the Honorable Yao Safo-Mafo, the senior minister, in the next 6 months, a charter on Ghana Beyond Aid. The charter will then be subject to scrutiny and debate by Parliament and adopted as a follow-up to the coordinated program of economic and social development policies. The nation will then know in detail how we intend to move Ghana to a situation beyond aid.
Elsewhere in the Upper West Regional Capital, some workers boycotted this year's May Day event over what they say was a failure by the organizers to provide them T-shirts for the parade. The workers were particularly angry because they claim monies were taken from them to be used for the procurement of the T-shirts and other souvenirs. Joy News' Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
Both the Civil and Local Government Association of Ghana and the Public Sector Workers Union had a little over 300 T-shirts from the over 2,000 workers assembled. Some of the workers decided not to take part in the event unless they are given the T-shirts.
We should come this morning for the T-shirts, and we came around 7. We didn't get the T-shirts, and we didn't get the coupons too for the refreshments. Every month they take deduction almost 60 Ghana a month from my salary. In fact, I'm worried because my colleagues are wearing.
Here is the case: we got here very early in the morning, and yet we have not seen any T-shirt around. They've given it to their favorites, you see. So that is the reason why we are here shouting. They have given it to favorites. People are taking 2, 3, 4. Meanwhile, we are here to even see one.
So now that you have not gotten the T-shirt, are you going to be part of the celebration?
We don't think so.
Upper West Regional Secretary of the Civil and Local Government Association of Ghana, Cornelius Desa, said they were overwhelmed by the numbers.
I saw the struggle for T-shirts, but as most members know, indeed, this year we are not supposed to even print T-shirts because we took a decision at NEC last year to give them cloths. But upon a second thought, we decided that we should just give a limited number to those that will come for the parade. They will take part in the march past the procession.
However, the boycott by the aggrieved members had little impact on the celebration. The workers from the various labor unions went a procession on some principal streets in the one municipality before they converge at the Nasiri Bomb Second Park to be addressed by the leaders of the unions. Upper West Regional Secretary of the Trades Union Congress, George Modi, called on workers to change their attitude towards work.
As we appeal to the President to end IMF programs and leaders to take control of our natural resources, we owe it a duty to demonstrate that we can indeed manage these resources efficiently and effectively. Our success or failure will depend on how disciplined we are as Ghanaian workers. We cannot build a prosperous country with laziness, and indiscipline.
Acting Upper West Regional Minister Amidi Chine Isako observed that some jobs in the country are not decent enough, leading to the violation of the rights of employers. He challenged employers of the informal sector to adhere to creating conducive workplace environment for workers.
Workplace safety is ignored and the wages of workers is poor. This has resulted in the exploitation of workers who threatens the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals 1, 2, and 8. The informal sector employs more than
President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday launched the Nation Builders Corp program, expected to employ some 100,000 youth this year. The website navco.gov.gh will be the main recruitment platform for the program. The program forms part of efforts to make graduates employable.
It is important that we do things differently if we are going to banish the specter of desperation and restore hope and dignity to our youth. Our ultimate goal as a government is to grow the economy rapidly so that together with the private sector, we will absorb our teeming unemployed youth. That is why I'm using the opportunity offered by the significance of this day, May Day, to launch an initiative which, while lending itself to the symbolic nature of today, will have a positive practical impact on the lives of the citizens of this country. In this year's Jumapa budget, I gave an indication that a new employment scheme will be launched to tackle the issue of the growing number of graduates exiting our tertiary institutions with no job placements in sight. This new initiative is the Nation Builders Corp, simply referred to as NABCO.
Well, expected beneficiaries of the Nation Builders Corp are divided over the initiative by government to address graduate unemployment. Now, the initiative is expected to last for 3 years. Let's first listen to the Chief Executive of Maslog, Stephen Amwasi, explains the initiative to Joy News.
The launch of the new initiative, Nation Builders Corp, by President Nana Akufo-Addo at KNUST in Kumasi, is expected to recruit 100,000 graduates trained and deployed to different public sector agencies. This is to tackle graduate unemployment in the country. The initiative is expected to last for 3 years. Chief Executive of Maslog, Stephen Amwa, says the initiative is the key to addressing unemployment situations in the country.
As we said, some of them will still remain in the formal sector. Others too probably will find their ways into they will respond to their entrepreneurial instincts. And those will be taken care of by providing. That is where Maslog and other bodies will come in strongly. So it's not like we're going to give them temporary job, no. But at least to be gainfully employed for the next 3 years is a real task. Most of them by then can even live on their own economically. Others will still stay in it. And mind you, we are expanding the economy. So there will be other opportunities that they can really take care of.
There are concerns about job security and permanent employment for the recruits. Mr. Amwa explains Maslog and other like-minded agencies have been charged to support the recruits with both technical and financial support.
And the entrepreneurs bit of it is where we also provide finances and other facilities, be machines and other things in a form of capital to make sure that those who are entrepreneurs and they are into their businesses through this policy framework, we can also resource them or facilitate them. And this is where, so we have direct role in terms of employment and we have indirect role in terms of providing financial resources and other assistance. We will do that. Even the training aspect, we will take part of it and make sure that we help our young Ghanaians that have graduated from various tertiary institutions to be in employment.
Some of the expected beneficiaries are divided about the intent of the initiative to address unemployment.
One of the qualifications is that you have your certificates. So what the NSS can do now to help those who are in the service is to release our certificate early, as soon as possible. But we thank God that now with the NSS we move from the paperless to the digital, whereby we can access our certificate online. So you just appeal to them that they should speedy or hurry or work on it fast so that people can get it, so that we can apply.
Because one, I completed the university, I hold a license as a medical laboratory scientist. Anybody who works in the laboratory, if you go to Confanochi, you hold the same qualification. So if you are sending me there to work as a medical laboratory scientist, why should that person take over 2,000 and I take 700 cedis. We are doing the same diagnosis. Remember, we hold the same license, the same certificates. So why should my colleague, that we work, we do the same work, we do the same diagnosis, receive a higher amount and I take 700 cedis? Now the question is, are there spaces in the public sector? If there are spaces, what prevents the government to enroll us fully or give us permanent appointments? Okay, so if there are spaces and you need people to fill those spaces, give us permanent appointments. If there are no spaces, fine, we'll stay at home. But if there are spaces, please, we are not case.
Prince Apia reporting.
We're taking a break here on Joy News Prime. Still ahead, mother of police officer killed in an armed robbery attack at Bogos in the Western region says her son died at the hands of a road cop who was with the assailants.
The government should investigate and arrest the police officer who shot my son.
We'll be back with all that and more. Stay tuned. The family of the police officer who was killed in a recent armed robbery attack is accusing a rogue police officer who was with the armed robbery gang as the one who shot their son. Lance Corporal Nicholas Duku was shot by armed robbers at Bogos last Sunday whilst providing escort services to mining logistics firm Plate and Plume. The family says it will resort to other means to seek justice should the police administration fail to nab the culprit and bring them to book. Western Region correspondent in Athalia Kwanza visited the family home at Daboase and sent in this report.
The deceased corp's wife, Memuna Twaruna, a student nurse at Damango Nursing Training, describes how shocked she was to hear of her husband's death not long after they had been in touch.
Very painful. I want the government to take care of my daughter.
Father of the deceased corpse says his son played an instrumental role in catering for the family and as such will do everything in his part to get justice for him.
My late son was very hardworking and responsible. He was the breadwinner of the family. I did not receive any information about him being sick. Instead, I heard he was shot and is dead. I am pleading with the Takoradi police to carry out a thorough investigation into this case and let the law deal with the wicked people, or else our family will be forced to take action.
His mother, on the other hand, who kept wailing uncontrollably, accused a rogue cop who was a member of the armed robbery gang as the one who killed her son. She says the rogue officer must be exposed and made to pay for the crime.
The chief inspector came himself to deliver the sad news to us that my son Nicholas is dead, adding that he was shot. He was on his way to carry out his duty as instructed with some other colleagues of his. It was taking too long and he decided to go check up on them. There he got shot by a colleague police officer who was with the robbers. He was shot 6 times like an animal. Who will take care of us? The government should investigate and arrest the police officer who shot my son.
The deceased cop is survived by a wife and daughter. In Athalia Kwanza's report for Joy News.
Vegetable farmers at Degedege in the Tyne district of the Branhafo region are calling on government agencies in charge of irrigation projects to, as a matter of urgency, help revive a stalled dam project there. According to the farmers, construction of the dam started during former President Kufuor's era but stalled at the early stages. Joy News' Nestor Kafuya visited the Degedege, the irrigation dam site, and filed the following report.
Dege is a predominantly farming community about 35 kilometers from the district capital, Nsoko. During the dry season, hundreds of vegetable farmers from Dege and neighboring communities cultivate vegetables such as okra, tomato, garden eggs, and pepper close to the dam. But farmers are now worried about the state of the dam. The walls, according to them, have not been fixed since they collapsed during the early stages of construction. Yao Afare is a farmer here. He says fixing the dam should be a priority for the government as it will enhance the Planting for Food and Jobs program. We do not get enough water to feed our plants because the dam has not been functioning well. If the authorities are able to fix the dam, it will be beneficial to all of us. We at Dege are committed to cultivating more to feed the country, so we need assistance. Vegetable farmer Yao Echampong believes young people in the Tyne district will be encouraged in all year-round vegetable farming if the dam is reconstructed and they are assured of constant availability of water to feed their plants. I am Yao Echampong Jr. and I came all the way from Sekwa because of this dam. If government will fix this dam, it will motivate all the youth in the area to go into farming. It is amazing the agricultural prospects of such communities as Dege. All the people and the farmers of Dege are saying is come and help us do big farming. For Joy News, Nesta Kafui Ajuma reporting from the Dege dam site.
Chief of Party for the USAID Sustainable Fisheries Management Project, Maurice Knight, is urging government to commit more resources to help better manage the fisheries sector. Although 10% of the population depends on the sector, the country's fish stock continues to decline, with illicit fish harvesting methods blamed for the problem. Though Maurice Knight commends authorities and locals of coastal communities for their commitment to restoring the sector, he says better management will require more resources. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur has more in this report.
The Sustainable Fisheries Management Project, SFMP, has been engaging local NGOs to help restore mangroves in the Ankobra and Pra estuaries in the Western region. The move is to protect breeding grounds for fish. SFMP is also working with fish processors along the coast to prevent post-harvest losses. The projects, according to Chief of Party for SFMP, Maurice Knight, are delivering impressive results.
In places, they've replanted 20, 25, 30,000 mangrove seedlings in areas which were completely denuded of mangroves before. So this kind of effort done by the communities themselves shows them that they can take control of their own resources. They've set aside areas where they don't allow fishing now. They've developed their own fisheries management plans or community-based fisheries management plans.
To ensure locals benefit from USAID SFMP project, Mr. Knight says funds allocated are strictly monitored.
We use international standard monitoring and evaluation practices for implementation. We use international standard accounting processes and monitoring processes to make sure the funds are tracked and all are accounted for. So this at once makes sure that the money is being used for what it was intended to use, but also increases the capacity of our partners to really meet international standard accounting and implementation practices across the country.
He comments on ongoing cooperation between USAID, SFMP, government and locals, but adds that more resources need to be committed to ensure that efforts to replenish fish stock yield better results.
I think the challenges have to do with the level of resources that are provided for management of the fisheries sector. It includes enforcement, it includes outreach to communities, it includes empowering regional fisheries offices to do their jobs. But these are challenges that can be overcome over time, and I think we're seeing the kind of commitment at the national level right now to overcome those. Looking forward, I hope Parliament is going to increase the resources that go to the Fisheries Commission and the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development to address these challenges.
Once government implements the 1-month closed season later this year and local leaders are empowered to help manage coastal resources, the fisheries sector should begin to witness the much-needed improvement. Adelaide Arthur, Joy News, Accra.
You're watching Joy News Prime, and Ghana's biggest hero still to come in the bulletin. Ghana's biggest boxing hero, or biggest hero at the moment, boxing sensation, Isaac Dogbe, is expected to touch down at the Accra Kotoka International Airport in the next few minutes, or at least within the hour, and we will be bringing you Joy News at the Kotoka International Airport to welcome you.
Hello again, good evening to you, welcome to business. The International Monetary Fund says it has approved for disbursement some $191 million to Ghana. This was after the country passed the assessment carried out to review Ghana's performance under the program, but it appears this has not come easy for the country. George Jaffe has more on the statement released by the board.
According to the IMF, the board granted some waivers to help the country secure the pass mark and ensure that the program remains on track. Sources say the country missed out on the wage bill target under the program, as well as non-accumulation of arrears. The board, however, thanked government on progress made in putting the program back on track, as well as stabilizing the economy. It was, however, worried about the fact that the country's debts are still rising and that critical measures are required to put the situation under control. On the monetary side, the IMF was of the view that authorities should continue addressing fragilities in the financial sector, as well as the non-performing loans and problems in the microfinance sector. It also wanted the Bank of Ghana to follow up on the recent banking interventions and also ensure that confidence is restored in the banking sector, as well as dealing with issues of solvency and financial viability. The planned $191 million disbursement brings the total amount given to Ghana since it started this program at around $764 million. The development would also result in more of the country's donors actually dispersing funds to Ghana to help stabilize the economy, all because of the IMF program and progress made just from yesterday.
Could you beat that? I don't think so. I think that the ultimate aim of the scheme is what we have to be focused on. And the key word is employability. We want to make sure that you're entering this scheme with a base qualification, we add value to you, and by the end of the process, you become employable. So if you're interested in making the 5,000s, the 10,000s, being given the accommodation along with the car and everything, we are making you ready to be able to get those jobs. You couldn't get those jobs with your degree or diploma. It's unthinkable that anyone would just hire you as a fresh graduate and give you those privileges within their institution. And that actually explains the very difficulty we have with private sector hiring, because governments are prepared to take the gamble even beyond national service by just giving people full responsibility. The private sector people are quite hesitant. Why? Because they think that you'd need to go a step further in terms of your skills acquisition and training before they would accept that they can trust you with certain responsibilities, and then the productivity factor becomes the issue as well. So think about it. This is a graduate employment scheme. It's a work and learning program. And if I say work and learning, what we're simply suggesting is that you come in with a base qualification, a degree or a diploma, and we recognize that what people exit with from universities or tertiary institutions, be they degree or diploma awarding institutions, doesn't necessarily equate or play out well in the world of work. So government is taking the burden of the value addition processes, skills, training, exposure to the world of work, work readiness, the core values that will require to make you a well-bred citizen. Could you quantify those in terms of what value you would have as a person by the time you have been given the security of tenure, a 3-year period within which you can make the right judgments about your future career pathways?
Now, more than 100 young people have begun a journey that will see them develop innovative ideas to resolve challenges in Ghana's agric value chain. Participants of the Cosmos Innovation Center's Agri-Tech Challenge have already embarked on their first market research and are expected to present viable business ideas to fill gaps identified. Joy News' Adelaide Arthur joined them across 6 regions in the country and has filed this report.
From land preparation and production to harvesting and processing, there are several opportunities young entrepreneurs can take advantage of. This is a fact participants of the Cosmos Innovation Center Agri-Tech Challenge now understand very well.
How do you determine that it's ready for harvest?
As they toured large commercial farms and processing factories at Akuse in Eastern Region, Eputuoja in Ashanti Region, Nasia and Gushi in Northern Region, and Yapaga in the Upper East Region, participants were exposed to real challenges in the agricultural value chain and how they can tap into these opportunities. After getting an insight into the operations of banana exporter Volta River Estate Limited, Emmanuel Dakun, a participant, has been thinking of how to put waste from banana plants to good use.
We can process the waste that cannot meet the international market standards. We can use them to feed pigs. We can use them to feed fish. So I'm looking at how we can process them so that the waste will not be waste, will not become waste. Then I'm also looking at the stem of the banana that can be used for clothes, because it's we just put them down, then just throw them away. I'm looking at whereby bringing out innovative ideas, whereby we can look into it, whereby we can get clothes from it.
For Prince Asamoah, a producer of fresh yogurt, providing crucial information to smallholder farmers and linking them to ready markets are avenues worth exploring.
There are gaps in aggregation, and with aggregation there are gaps in standardization. So a big company like Blue Skies, as we have here now, need pineapple farmers, but pineapple farmers out there don't know Blue Skies needs them. Pineapple farmers don't know the kind of pineapples that Blue Skies needs, which means that there are gaps in knowledge, there are gaps in aggregation, there are gaps in standardization. So you can link these farmers to a direct market like Blue Skies, who say they don't even reach up to 9% of their capacity.
According to the programs manager of the Cosmos Innovation Center, Benjamin Jankese, market research has proved very useful in the 2 previous seasons of the competition.
Basically, we want to give the exposure, like I said earlier, give them the network, give them the platform. So we're exposing them to a lot of things in the value chain. So processors, farmers, everybody in the value chain that matters. Now, my expectation is that these young entrepreneurs will pick up the necessary information that will help them to build business concepts to fill in the gaps.
The focus of the Agritech Challenge is to support young entrepreneurs to start their own businesses.
We're using the Agritech Challenge as a wheel or as a platform to support in the creation of employment to start with, and also the growth of the economy. So the whole process goes like from an application through to a selection, interview, and then participating in the program. It's a challenge, like you rightly said, and you go through a series of activities and you'll be pitching to an ideation team. Once your business is selected as one of the best, you get seed funding from Cosmos Energy. One business that came from us last year, in the first cohort, that's 2016, at the pitch level, he said, you know what, I think I have gained enough. I want to go on my own. Agro Center. And Agro Center has gone out there, he's pitched, and he's also gotten funding, and he's currently doing very well. Agro Center started full operations mid last year, 2017, and he's employed over 50 people. So this should tell you that what we're doing is something that is going to, in the end, help create a lot of employment, jobs for young people in the country.
The Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge began in 2016 and has so far supported 6 startups. Adelaide Arthur, Joy News, Accra.
Just add water straight and you are eating.
And the Bank of Ghana says it is awaiting the passage of the Payment and Settlements Bill before it can approve MTN's self-servicing kiosk for mobile money transactions. This follows the rollout of MTN's service, which the company says would for now be limited to buying airtime and SIM cards only. Meanwhile, a section of the public has been reacting to the decision by the telecoms giant to roll out this initiative.
It's good. It's good for me. Only that, you know, when machines begins to be introduced, now the human face aspect begins to diminish. So it means that people are going to lose their businesses because, you know, the mobile one, the human one also provide a lot of employment for a lot of people. That is where my fear is. But looking at the other side of the coin, it is a perfect idea because here you wouldn't have the issue of somebody keying a wrong number where your money will go somewhere else and that kind of stuff. So it's a good idea. But
my thought is good. It's okay for the system to be used because it will save us from this kind of robbery, and people will be monitoring you when going to the vendor to take money, and they will be watching you where you are passing. They will just trace you up to go and rob. I think this will be very better enough.
I don't think it can help us. Maybe some of us like that, maybe we cannot do things our own. So if the machine did it, I cannot go and tell the machine to do that thing for me. So if I come with the person is there, I just give him my detail, everything. He just done it perfect for me to go. So this machine cannot help me.
From my point of view, I think doing the mobile money as in a form of ATM is good though, but for me, where I live, there is a Vodafone agent behind me. Doing the ATM mobile money at Malata, I can't walk from my house to Malata, even maybe if I'm sick. So for the agents around me, I can just walk nearby to do my cashing out.
It is going to take a lot of people out of business because the MTN, I know, had actually created a lot of employment, and when this machine comes, then it means that businesses are not going to function.
And that's all in business tonight. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi. We are free.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. Now, the Ghana Police Service is warning about the activities of car snatching syndicates who are now using more sophisticated means to rob their victims. In the latest episode of the Ghana Police Watch show, the police says members of the syndicate now resort to spiking the drinks of their victims. The Ghana police also announced that it is breaking up a major car snatching syndicate operating across the country. Arrests have been appeared in court, whilst investigations continue to effect more arrests.
These are some of the cars we've been able to retrieve from these robbers, and most of the cars are Toyota vehicles, 4x4, and this is what they prefer to steal because to them it is already in the system.
The modus operandi is different and cunning. The trend is increasing and worrying. These criminals use deception and doping of their victims to ensure they seize the cars. They'll go to bar stations or taxi ranks and pretend to be interested in hiring a vehicle. If you agree to rent out your vehicle, they would request that you drive to Accra Mall, where they intend to pick up somebody for the trip. Mr. Ike Abaka, Chief Superintendent, District Commander, Airport, picks up the story about these criminals.
These criminals go to the taxi ranks and then trotro stations, pretending they want to hire the services of a driver or a taxi cab. Then when they get him, they send him to Accra Mall. Pretending that some of the people they are going to pick are there. So he goes in, comes back with a juice and said, oh, the people are coming, so you just take this juice whilst we prepare. As soon as the driver and the mate take it, they go off, and then the vehicles are taken away.
Accra Mall is a convenient location due to the fact that there is usually a lot of activity going on which can distract from the operation. But this can happen anywhere. The criminals usually target drivers of newly registered Toyota, Mini, and Sprinter buses. The doping of the victim through spiking of drinks is dangerous and can have a long-term effect on the health of the victim.
It's serious. Sometimes the driver will be out for 2 or 3 days. And even when they come to report the cases here, you can see they are still intoxicated. So I don't know the kind of substance they put in it.
We went to talk to DCOP Afriye, Chief Pharmacist at the police hospital.
Because the person administering or adding the drug to it is not a professional, his intention is to snatch the vehicle from the person or rob the person or assault the person. He just asks a certain quantity he thinks, he feels it's okay, but that could be dangerous to the person. And also the person could be allergic to the drug. If we're even prescribed drugs, we have people who are allergic to even paracetamol and even anti-malarial. So if the person is allergic to it, it may lead to his death. They are often colorless, odorless, and tasteless. So it's difficult for you to detect it when it is added. They even use syringes and just inject a little bit of it into it.
Right, so for more on these tips, you make a date for Ghana Police Watch, which airs on the Joy News channel on Mondays at 6 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. Now, it has become a lot more common these days to spot coconut sellers pushing trucks through Accra or stationed at vantage points to quench the thirst of the many in the city who have come to love the fruit. With 2 cedis, you could get yourself fresh coconut juice along with a fresh snack. In the first of a 5-part series, Joy News' Komladom spotlights the fruits that suddenly gained superfood status and why scores of Ghanaians cannot do without it.
A driver turned roving coconut seller, 30-year-old Kwame Joseph, came to Accra from Bodriase, hoping to find a better job. But after months of searching, he gave up and started his own job, that's selling coconuts. With a well-sharpened machete, a hired wheelbarrow, a usually oversized and sometimes faded polo shirt over a pair of blue knee-length jeans, he starts his day here.
I come here every morning to get the coconut and off to the Joy FM area.
At Aveno, scores of young men come to buy coconut every day. Heaps of coconut, tens of nearly weakened wheelbarrows are lined up on a piece of land across the rail tracks. It's just rained and patches of water have collected right close to the heaps of coconut here. Kwame Joseph and some other young men are sorting the best from the coconuts. How long has he been in this business?
Well, 18 years.
18 years.
Been doing this for 18 years. It's a viable alternative to unemployment.
Kwame has been doing this for 18 years, and this is routine for him. He's leaving the coconut hub to his regular sales point at the edge of the Fanofa Street, Kokomlemle. The craze for the coconut now is evident in many parts of Accra. Approximately every 500 to 600 meters, a coconut vendor stands behind a wheelbarrow or a goods truck with coconut fruits awaiting patronage. Stationed every day in front of a Joy FM building, Kwame Joseph sells nearly 100 pieces of coconut every day. It's a sunny day and these patrons will not pass up an opportunity to nourish themselves.
3 times a week. Okay. Yeah, so 3 days a week. I know it's a burden in my pocket, but it helps my system. So I'm okay with it.
I try to take it as much as I can, so I take it often.
I take the coconut each and every day. I try to take 2 each and every day with the basis that doctors advise that it is normal you take and it is good you take it.
Away from Kokomlemle, here at Bawaleshi near UPS, few meters away from a Trinity church, patrons have stopped by to have some coconut.
Maybe to me number 3 and 4.
I take 3 or 4 a day.
Once it to me more than 5.
I take more than 5 when I go to Accra because it's cheaper there.
Depending on where you get your fruits, you may just be paying.
And in our headlines, mother of police officer killed in an armed robbery attack at Bogoso in the Western region says her son died at the hands of a road cop who was with the assailants. Trade Union Congress backs government's plan to end its current program with the International Monetary Fund as workers mark May Day. President Akufo-Addo meanwhile says his government is already planning for life after the IMF in furtherance of a Ghana beyond aid. In the Upper West Regional capital, while some workers decided to boycott May Day celebrations there because they had not been given T-shirts and refreshments. In business, IMF board approved $191 million disbursement for Ghana despite missing out on some key program targets.